And time for us to get a look at sports. It's a sports roundup. The man in the know, the man in the collar, Father Matt Frisbee joining us. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Father.
Oh, good morning, Dave and Ron. Good to be with you. In the collar, yes. In the know. That's a good question. That's up for debate. Big weekend of sports. Of course, especially this was, even though we had college football the prior weekend, this was really the first weekend of college football. And locally, of course, we saw the Buckeyes. I didn't see any of the game just simply because, well, I work Saturday afternoons, evenings. I had confessions and mass, so I didn't see the game. But, from all accounts, they started off slowly against Akron, and then obviously big win, 52-6. I think it's especially of note their freshman receiver, Jeremiah Smith, the number one overall recruit in this last recruiting cycle, 2 touchdowns there to get scoring going for the Buckeyes after he dropped his first pass. So, Buckeyes, big win. They go on to play Western Michigan, another MAC team this upcoming Saturday. And, that team up north, Michigan, playing Fresno State. And kind of similar thing. They started off slowly there. I think it was 10-3 at halftime. And even early in the fourth quarter, it was a close game, 16-10. And then they scored 2 touchdowns there in the fourth to get a 30-10 lead. And they've got a big, big game coming up this Saturday against the Longhorns of the University of Texas. So we'll see. Michigan's really going to get tested here this weekend. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, the big test in the Big Ten for this past weekend, Father, was USC, the newest one of the newest members of the Big Ten, going against SEC LSU and stomping them down. Gotta love it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. 27-20. At first I didn't even think about it until after the game because usually I root against USC. And everyone's and they're in the Big Ten now, so I got to root for them against LSU. That's right. Yeah. So the Big Ten went 17-1. Of course, that means there are 18 teams in the Big Ten. A certain irony there. But so a good weekend all in all for the Big Ten. Of course, they didn't play too many teams. Oregon, another team too. They played Idaho, the Vandals of Idaho, and that was a game much closer.
They gave them a game.
They gave them a game. So, one more thing in the world of college football. Number 10 ranked Florida State has now begun the year 0-2, losing to Georgia Tech last week and last night to Boston College. We'll see what the Seminoles can do the rest of the year. But, the other thing we should talk about baseball going through and, our tribe out of Cleveland here, things looked really tenuous when we talked last week. At that point they were tied for the AL Central with the Royals, and the Royals have been in a tailspin ever since. Tribe had a big come-from-behind win, I think it was on Wednesday, to salvage that series and remain atop the AL Central. And the Royals have lost ever since, and the Indians, the Guardians, they have won a number of games since then. So hopefully they can keep it going. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Twins, and the Royals now are 4.5 out after being tied for the lead in the Central last week.
Yeah, they play the Royals again today.
We are getting into the thick of the season now as we're here in September, and Cleveland's magic number is down to I think 23. So it's time to start talking about magic numbers and getting close to clinching the division, but plenty of baseball left, even though we're in football season. With the Browns starting this Sunday against Dallas. NFL starts really this Thursday evening, but the Browns aren't playing, so who cares?
It doesn't really start till Sunday. And how about Deshaun Watson for Sunday? How you feeling about that? No preseason practice to get him ready.
Well, we'll see. He hasn't played since last November when they had that big come-from-behind win against Baltimore, at Baltimore. But he had that injured shoulder, no preseason stuff, so he hasn't played at game speed. So we'll see. Whenever people have high expectations for the Browns, which is not very often, then they usually do pretty poorly. So I figure I'm going to go with my normal low expectation for the Browns this season and Deshaun Watson. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that's always a good way to do it. Now, of course, we're going to find out how the GOAT does at broadcasting. Tom Brady will be in the booth for the Browns-Cowboys game.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get that going. And I should mention, too, speaking of the Browns and broadcasting, their longtime play-by-play announcer, Jim Donovan, in the radio, radio play-by-play, voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, came out last week as he had battled with cancer last year, something he had done before, and came out and said his cancer is back and it is aggressive, and he has called his last game as the Browns play-by-play guy. So prayers for Jim Donovan.
Absolutely. Well, Father Matt, as always, you've really brought us up to date. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Father.
God bless.